I set a light one quiet night to breathe the air before I sleep, when soon my mind lost track of time, away in thoughts both light and deep. I found I'd roamed too far from home, too late to make a safe retreat. For my soul I dug a hole, I'll slumber in the ground beneath. But curse my ears, so full of fear, and the racing rhythm of my heart. Above my head I heard the dead, refusing loudly to depart. Know not how long I heard their song before the sun began to rise. I clawed my way to the light of day, rejoicing in the morning sky. Next time I stray so far away, my nightly hole should be dug deeper. Though bones and groans and fear was sown, at least I didn't find a... Hello and welcome. Did you enjoy that little poem? Today's episode is going to be mainly about the night sky. So I thought I'd do a little poem about it because I love the nighttime. No surprise to probably any of you, but I'm a bit of a night owl. But the one thing that bothers me is, sure, over here it's nice and peaceful. However, Minecraft is not a peaceful place at night. Let's see here. Hold on, just give it a second. There we go. Which is a bit sad for me because I really enjoy the nighttime. I find it super peaceful. It's when I find myself most productive. I really enjoy it. So, we need to make this place mob-proof eventually, but for now I have a different night sky kind of in mind. Now that we're nice and safe in the daylight, we can talk about the planetarium in Myst. It's one of the really cool builds, and it has a super cool mechanic inside that we absolutely cannot do in Minecraft. You see, it's a circular building with a dome, and inside of it, they have this really cool chair. And in that chair, you're able to look off into space, and depending on what time and location, or maybe it's just time, I think it's just time, that you pick throughout history, you can see the night sky and what the position is at a certain time. Well, that's we can't do that. We can't do that. So I thought I would still try though to make a mechanic that would require use of the night sky, and I think I have a pretty fun idea. All right, flooring is in place. Obviously, you know, I've pre-designed some stuff, so I know exactly where this floor is supposed to go. But I want to talk about pillars. You see, I have some pillars over here. I feel like pillars in Minecraft are a little bit tricky. Usually, most people aren't doing a build where the pillars are, you know, like the size of that tree. You know, they're usually much smaller than that. And whenever you're using blocks to get a rounded column, it's pretty tough. So you end up with this kind of 3x3 cross kind of thing usually, or maybe it's just a square, but you always usually try to do some kind of flare out at the bottom and the top, because not only is that how you usually see pillars in a lot of the old like Greek or Roman builds, but also because it gives you an opportunity to do something a little bit more rounded shape than the column itself. Hopefully trying to give that look of roundness to the column. Well, over here, I don't really have enough room to do a flare out. So I'm going to use these steps and what will eventually be the roof as the flare out for the columns rather than giving them Sorry. I got tongue-tied. Rather than giving them their own flare-outs of their own. Nailed it. Okay, so we're going to go with something like this. I'm just going to go with a 2x2. Because once again, not enough room really for the 3. I want to have a walkway in here before the build. And then we're going to change up the block. The first impulse is a column is usually all one color. If you go and you see any kind of old builds or even new builds that are using columns, they're usually a single color, granite or quartz or I don't know. I don't know what stones they actually make. If you want to know about stones, you should ask Geo. I'm not the stone person. But I feel like in Minecraft, that's a mistake. You should probably change up the blocks in any way you can. You see over there, actually, I have a little bit of kind of an in and out gradient going on. That adds some interest to it while keeping it the same. I'm going to do something slightly different with this one. All right. Yes, I know I kind of contradicted what I just said. That is a single block all the way. I did put a darker version of that block here to try to give a little image of a shadow at the bottom of the column. But we're going to do something different. Excuse me. Shoo. We are going to use this glow lichen. And by adding it across the side, let's see, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 and 5. Like that. Of course, I have to do this all the way around. Just throw my pick. What do I? Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. Okay, all right. See, that breaks up the pillar from being a single long column to giving a little bit of interest. And of course, then at the top, when I put the roof on it, it'll add a little bit of shadows up there as well. So what you'll have is the darker down here, darker up there, and gradually progressing to lighter in the middle. I learned an interesting thing about light and dark whenever I was in college and I did some theater classes. So if you do makeup and you put a darker spot on your face, it'll make your face look like it's sunken in. And then if you do a lighter spot on your face, it looks as though it stands out. So we can apply that same principle here by having darker at the bottom and at the top, and then providing some lightness or some interest in the middle. That kind of gives the column a bit of an illusion of being thinner on the top and bottom and bulging out a little bit in the middle, which is exactly what we want for columns. Okay, there we go. If you look now, you can see it's darker here, darker up top, and with this lightness in the middle, it kind of gives a little bit of an illusion that there's some shape to it. And maybe I'm the only one that sees it. If I am, you can let me know. It's okay. It's good for you to tell me if I'm crazy. That way I can get better. But I think it's great. I think it actually gives a little bit of extra texture. And then I went ahead and put a dome on the top. And I think it turned out really good. I chose to go with this color mainly because I haven't really used it on anything. I have some dark prismarine back there, but I haven't really used this, and I feel like it's a really good, light, really cool color for a dome. I didn't want to go glass because we're going to do some night sky work. So down here below, let me go ahead and put some walls up, and then we can start talking about the ceiling. That's not the ceiling, that's the roof. We're gonna have a ceiling below it that will hopefully remind us of a night sky. I have a few different methods to try, but we gotta get some walls up first. Okay, now that the basic walls are set up and I have a cool giant gate-like door thing, I wanted to do a bit of a public service announcement. When you're doing large builds like this, I want to start encouraging all of you to make sure that your walls are 2 blocks thick. And what that gets you is the ability to have an external kind of block and then equally an internal kind of block. Now, I admit I haven't done that for all of my builds around here, but whenever you have a big room kind of like this one, if you're building on this scale, or bigger actually, it's really important to get that inner and outer different feel. Okay, and a public service announcement. Now in the game, this is a planetarium, and I can't get exactly that, but I do want to get elements of that into the game. Ignore what I got going on here with the holes, that'll come along later. But I do want to have it in here unlit. Now I know there's torches right now, that's just for my safety, but that's why I have this half slab floor. I'm using stairs here in this area. Anywhere you see a block, I'm actually going to have something built on top of it. So in theory, this entire inside area will be spawn proof. It is possible for them to walk in from outside. I'm hoping to have this area out here lit, but not this, so that when it turns night, it will be dark in here. And I have a fun little redstone-y thing to do with the night-day dynamic that we'll do later. But for now, I want to focus on this ceiling. I want to make a night sky in here. And there are a few different ways to go about it. So we're going to start off with the most obvious, black it out with black concrete. Whoa, that's really black. Okay, all right, well, darkening achieved. I feel like we need some stars up there. Now, I'm gonna try something. I'm not sure if it'll work for everybody, but I at least wanna give it a try. You see, I have this texture pack that if I use glow item frames, they work as normal, but if I use regular item frames, they're invisible, which is super great for me. Unfortunately, you guys would probably see it if you downloaded the pack. But let's give it a go and see if it's worth maybe sharing this pack with you whenever you download. I don't know if it's going to be worth it or not, but it's worth throwing up a bunch of star-like things up in the sky and seeing if any of them just look so magical that we really got to go with it. Oh, and before you ask, no, I'm not using wither stars. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not. I understand that they could look cool. I'm not doing it. No. Let's try gas tiers, iron nuggets, diamonds, and pale buttons. Okay. So here are the buttons in the item frame. They're so tiny you can't really even see them. The diamonds are kind of weird and big. I do like the size of these, but it's just still so dark up there. These are nuggets, and these are tiers. You can't really tell much of a difference between them from up there. If I was gonna do this all over, I'd probably go with the gold nuggets, not gold, iron nuggets, because they're easier to get than the gas tiers. But actually, while I was putting the buttons up, I had an idea that I want to try. What if I didn't use the item frames? All right. For visibility, that's not bad. I was really thinking of just using the item frames, but without the item frames, I think it's a little bit better. And it looks very Minecrafty, right? This is exactly what like the stars in the actual Minecraft sky look like. So, this is pretty good. If I ended up going with this, I'd be okay, but I actually have a few more to try. So let's try something that is weird, but I have a bunch of it. And it's new, so let's see how it looks. You probably guess I'm talking about resin, right? I have a lot of this stuff. Now it looks weird. Yeah, that's not really doing the job. I do like those clusters. I wish it was kind of like those new flowers where you could have like a single or 3 or 4 bursts of them rather than just every single one is the same. Even though I really wanted another use for resin, that's probably gonna be a no. Now for me, the biggest problem for most of these actually is how dark they are. You know, stars kind of twinkle a little bit. Even if they're far away, they've got at least a little bit of twinkle to them. So let's try something that Aladrium told me about. He had an idea about end rods and tinted glass. So let me go ahead and put that together. It's a little bit fiddly. So let's put it together. We'll see what the final result looks like and see how we feel about it. So I had really high hopes for this one, but I don't think it's going to work out. I think it's a problem of height. If I had, let's say we were over here at the mountain, okay? And I wanted to have like a starry sky at the top of the mountain. I think by being here and looking up and seeing that, it would be a really super cool effect because of the distance between here and there. But I don't think inside of this build here that it's really got the height that I need in order to get the effect the way we want it. Because all I just see is, I see the lines everywhere rather than like individual points of stars. If any of you have tried this one before and had success, please let me know. I'd love to know a better way to do it. But I think I'm gonna go with my tried and true method. I've used this as a starry sky before. I think it's really the best method, and it's easy. And I'm a huge fan of easy build techniques. There we are, old tried and true, the skulk block. If you look, let's be very still. If you look, you can even see it twinkling in and out. It's really the best star block you can get in the game. If you think one of the other options just really do the job, please let me know in the comments. There are several to choose from, but I feel like the glowing, twinkling ability of these matched with just the fact that it looks like a starry field sky. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to add the puzzle part of this to the build. That's what all these little platforms are for. That's what all these windows are for. That's what this plinth in the middle is for. And then we can call this build done. And the inside is done. Okay, you may be thinking it's a little sparse, but that's exactly like the original build. So they were very, very white walls, and there was a chair in the middle that had the telescope machine type thing that saw back in time. I'm not doing the chair. I have a different item here in the middle. If you look up there, there's a little bit of a spyglass. I don't have a telescope, but I can do a spyglass. And these ladders, well, let's just save their explanation until the spoiler section at the end of the video, okay? For now, let's see this thing in RTX. It always looks so good like that. I wanted to give all of you who are keeping up with my comings and goings a little bit of a quick update. As you know, I'm in the middle of a hardcore series as well. I'm a busy boy. I do plan on releasing some footage because I survived. I'm super proud of that. But I have one more major build. I've got the library that links to the top of the mountain, and I want to get that out. So next week, we're going to work on that build, and that'll be the last of the main builds of the island. It does not mean we're done with the island. I've got lots of trees and landscaping. I have an entrance to design, and I have some final touches on all the puzzles to make sure they're all working correctly. And hopefully we'll get somebody over here to maybe do a test run through. Obviously, that would have to be extremely edited so you wouldn't see the results, but we can get some of the reactions and see like which things maybe failed or and which things worked well, maybe which puzzles were too hard, etc., etc. But for now, I think we're done. I had a great time building this. I'm looking forward to being done with this island, and it's turning out so much better than I thought it would. Oh man, I hope all of you had a wonderful time today. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope that you found it adequate. If you're still here, you want some of the spoilers and redstone talk here at the end. So let's start off pretty easy with the most obvious thing in here are these ladders. You're welcome to go up the ladders. You'll find some things in a couple of the windows. Some of the things you won't find anything. But if you go to the top of the mountain, it'll give you a hint about which one of these ladders you actually need to climb. Unfortunately, I don't have that answer right now because I haven't finished building this puzzle because I need the other building in the mountain to finish it. But it'll tell you there at the top of the mountain which one to look in. And if you travel up them, some of them will have information really easy to see. And some of them, well, you may have to use a little bit of help. But how do you get that help? Where do you get it? The next thing you see in the room, here in the middle, right there behind the glass, is a looking glass. But let me hop into a creative world to show you how this thing works. It'll be way easier than tearing it all apart just to show you. You may notice that attached to this glass, we actually have some sticky pistons, so they can pull up and out of the way. But how do we do that? Do you see any switches or levers? Well, no. What I'm using is a daylight sensor. A daylight sensor to a redstone block that will activate the 4 different pistons. So I have a hole in the roof. Oh, all the way. There we go. A hole in the roof. And it'll turn the sensor off, on. I don't remember which direction. But by doing so, it will pull up the glass and reveal the looking glass so you can grab it, or the spyglass. And when does all that happen? Well, at night, of course. I wanted to use one of the rare things that Minecraft has over Myst, where there's lots of things, but one of the main things that it has over it is the daylight cycle. You're actually going to have a daylight cycle going in and out while you're working on these puzzles, and I wanted to take advantage of it. So what you have to do is wait for night to fall. You'll get the spyglass, and then you'll be able to look through one of these windows to get the answer to the next step. I can't wait. We're so close. I'm loving it so much. All right. Thanks so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. If you have any questions that you feel is private, please feel free to hop over to my Discord and talk to me over there, and I'll be happy to answer any more direct questions about what's going on here. All right. Thanks so much, and I hope that you have fun.